Hey YouTube, today I'm going to show you how to do a little mod to the Jeep. If you guys are into rock crawling a little bit, or just need better articulation for off-road, what you can do is, if your Jeep is equipped, you can remove the rear sway bar. That would be this one right here. It connects all the way across to the other side. I don't know why they really put them on this car, because it's not really necessary. Because all you need really is this front one that reaches across this way, and that can even be taken off if you're actually on the trail, but I wouldn't advise that on the street. But the rear one, it really serves no purpose. You don't need it, and it just extra weight. But you can see it going across right there. What you get is better articulation off-road. So really all this seems to do is limit your flexing abilities. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to take off. All you do is take off your wheel right there. Under here you have one of these U-bolts that goes around the axle like so, and there'll be two nuts. It's the outside one, and you're just going to remove those two nuts, and I'll free this up top of this. Okay, now what you're going to try to do is you got to try to get that spun out of the way up, unless you're able to lift the whole car at once. I decided to do one side at a time, but if you're doing one side at a time like me, you're just going to flip this up, get it out of the way, tighten your bolts down with the U-bolt again, or your nuts down with the U-bolt, and then you can proceed over here, and there's two bolts that you got to take out off the frame, and you're done on that side, and then you do an identical thing on the other side. So I'm going to try to get this off. It's way easier to do it if you do the whole back of the car at once, but I'm really limited on how many jack stands I have. Okay, so I discovered that this can just slide out of the way. You twist it up and then it'll just slide off, and then you go ahead and tighten up your U-bolts again. Do them evenly as you can, so that you're not flexing it one way or the other. It's got to be pretty well centered, and then you can move on and start untightening these ones. I used, for these upper ones, a 5/8, and then for the U-bolts I think it was 3/4 inch to pull those, and these are all coming out real easy. I'd recommend, if they don't want to come out, using some penetrating lubricant, because you really don't want to break anything off in your car. It's pretty common with cars from the back east or snow country. Out here in California, I have no rust on this, and they've all come out. But yeah, so let me get it out and I'll show you guys what it is. Something else I forgot to mention that's important is, when you take these bolts out, you're going to have two open holes in your unibody. It's a must that you replace the screws just to plug those holes. You don't want to get a bunch of dirt in the threads or debris in there, and then it fills up your unibody with water or whatever. Given there are holes in other places, but this wasn't intended to be a spot for taking on water. So always return your bolts. That way, if you ever needed them later on, they'd be there also. And here's the rest of the sway bar. On this side, it's pretty much out of the way. So I'm going to move on down there after I finish up here. So here's the sway bar off the car. As you can see, it's pretty thin diameter. It's really chintzy. That's my finger. Same diameter as the sway bar itself. Really doesn't do anything. I went out and tested the car, and I can't feel the difference with the sway bar off. The rear sway bar is pretty much useless. and then I gained quite a bit of flexibility off the road. The rear now is able to flex much better, giving some more articulation to the components back there. These little mounts off the sway bars right here are good for making bar pin eliminators for your shocks if you're doing lifts and you want to convert to a bar pin eliminator setup. So I'd consider using these for that. So if you're at the junkyard or something, and that's an alternative for that. Other than that, this is pretty much useless. I mean, you might want to keep it around in case you do some towing or something. I mean, I've read that's the only real thing to have this for on the Jeep Cherokee, but I mean, I can't tell anything has changed driving that without the sway bar. So just a quick little mod for you guys who want to get a little bit more off-road capability with your fairly stock Jeep. This is mine with a 2-inch lift on 30s, and it does pretty good without that rear sway bar. And then also the front sway bar that I've showed you right here, going over there, connecting, that it can be taken off for a little better articulation off-road also, but the car doesn't drive very well without it. So just a little quick tip, hope that helps. Rear sway bar removal, big improvement. Thanks for watching, guys.